Swift sounds. Do we have... Oh, okay, we don't. In the bottom left, folks, in the blue, it's Cristiano. And in the upper right, in the red, by far the scariest player at I Am Katowice. Bar none, it is Reynor. And again, despite the fact that Reynor was knocked out by Oliveira, by his teammate, in that round of 8, he was by far the scarier player in the entire tournament. He did not drop an entire series in the group stage. He made Terran look bad. And, I mean, then he did lose to Oliveira at the end, but it was a closely fought series. And one thing he was telling me leading up to Katowice was that his ZVP was really good. He won like 20 games in a row on ladder. He had some really crisp timings. His defense was looking really good. And then, of course, he took a lot of damage to Showtime in a couple games. But he was very confident, specifically in this matchup. Yes, this was played earlier today. We were casting off the VOD. So I'm interested to see what Cristiano is going to go for here in this first game. Ancient Cistern is a big map. It is arguably one of the best maps for Zerg just because it is massive. It has it's a long rush distance and it's just got a lot of bases, right? So that does favor Zerg in the late game. The only problem, I guess, for Zerg is that some of those bases are pretty far away. So it's kind of hard to make sure you can go and actually get to the space you want to get to. Anyway, yeah, so it's a big map. And Cristiano is one of these players that has always been something of a Stargate guy. Maybe not to the point where, wow, he's always going to go Stargate. It's going to be kind of pain. But, well, he's always been much more... recently, he's been much more kind of the Void Ray track than the Glaive Adept track, something like that. And it does, of course, look like this is going to be... There we go, Stargate on the way. So at least a Stargate opener coming out of Cristiano. We know this, of course, because... Well, we got almost a 250, and there was no warp gate. So that's always going to be your tell. That's what you're looking at. Well, the question then is, what is this going to be? Right? Is this going to be Stargate play? Is this going to be... Or, sorry, is this going to be Oracle play? Is this going to be Void Rays? Does he drop a second Stargate? Well, it's a very early second and third gas. So it seems like this is going to be something maybe a little bit more tech committed. Do I know a solution to the strong CP problem in particle physics? Cyberjohn says, I have no idea what you're talking about. I am not a particle physicist. I'm sorry to say that that might be something we can ask my brother if he shows up in chat later on. Yeah, rocket scientist is not a particle physicist. You know, a chef is not a blacksmith. As Reynor is going to see the Void Ray out, he's going to see the first Stargate. Don't know if he saw the second one, though. No, he didn't. But Void Ray first is very rare, and knowing Cristiano as the player that he is, well, one can make assumptions. That being said, wait, were those gateways closed? I think they were. We're going to take a look at the base in a second. Yeah, those gateways are still closed. I don't know if he ever completed Warp Gate or not, but the links are going to get us around on the Adept. Not that one down out very quickly. And man, game sounds are a little bit weird. But anyways, third base is going to be very heavily denied here. First carrier already out on the way. And let's see what Reynor's option is. Sabajon, I'm a big fan of Axioms. Or specifically Axiom Esports, but maybe not Axions as links again. They're just finding the probe time after time after time, denying this third base from Cristiano. And I don't care who you are. You know, if you don't have a third base, As a Protoss, life becomes very difficult indeed. Failure to thrive is the word that comes to mind. And it seems that Cristiano, unless I missed something, I don't think Warp Gate was ever completed. I think he canceled it. And that means that, I mean, he's just going straight carriers, folks. +1 air is going to be done at 5 minutes and 30 seconds. As again, the Lings are going to try to find where the third base is on the way. Another probe will go down. And, well, I mean, it's a powerful timing. Sure, you run across the map at like 7 minutes with 2-3 carriers. But the Spire is already a third of the way done, an eighth of the way done. Reynor's going to be able to pump a lot of corruptors on the fact that he knows that there has been no threat on his side of the map. At 6 minutes in, he already got 70 workers. Anyway, here come the carriers. Here, Voidray's going to get targeted down very quickly. And yeah, Reynor's going to lose a queen. Actually, these queens do not have a lot of energy on them. But notice, actually, we're also seeing the big buff or change with the carriers, where the interceptors are not really going down as long as the carriers stay in range. So Cristiano is microing them forward, soaking some damage because the queens are never going to kill a carrier, and then getting much more damage done. So a lot of these queens have gone down. It's now, what is this? 3 or 4 queens have fallen before the carriers or the interceptors finally fall. And that is a much better trade than Reynor would have otherwise gotten. You know, it's still not the best situation, but it's certainly not the end of the world. And again, Cristiano making a little bit better of a trade, but he's going to hang out here and he's going to have to recall this because 11 corruptors are on the way, and 11 corruptors, even lacking a +1 upgrade, because of course these carriers are 13 corruptors, because of course these carriers do have +1. With the queens and the corruptors, these carriers are not going to last all that long whatsoever. So, well, interceptors go out right now. And you want to make sure, if you're Reynor, you take this fight before the interceptors are out in earnest. So the low one's going to get targeted down. Queens get on top of that one. That's one dead carrier immediately. Recall's going to knock a second carrier down to the end of things. And, well, that's going to be dead interceptor as well. So Cristiano, half of his fighting force is dead. It's gone. It's in the ground. And there will... Oh. Voidray? I think a Voidray just fell. But now, I mean, there's nothing that's going to keep these carriers alive. We're going to see the Voidray pop out, but that's just going to pop out immediately. And Cristiano's dead. GG. We're going to game 2. Let's see if he can trade back one against Reynor. Here's in the bottom right in the blue. He's down a game in this series. It is Cristiano. Yeah, Bakano Proto would not be surprised to see an all kill, as in the upper left in the blue on his way there. He is Reynor. I'm not gonna lie, the game sound seems just a little bit off to me. Like we're missing music or something, or the music's there, but the game sounds are, I don't know. It's weird. It's throwing me off a little bit. But anyways, we're in Babylon here for map 2. It's a very good Zerg map. And let's see what Cristiano has in store for us. Because remember, folks, loser gets to pick. So while we talk about, oh, well, you know, Reynor won map 1, that's great. Loser gets to pick. So Cristiano chose map 2 as Babylon, which means he does have something maybe in store. And if we're going to talk about the way he played last game, there's a decent amount of dead airspace on Babylon on the right side. You can go in and snipe a spawning pool, maybe snipe a gas, something like that. You can play around with carriers right outside the third. If you're playing this very heavy Stargate style, so Gary Organis, the way that build normally works is you move out with 2 to 4 carriers, you put a lot of pressure on the 3rd or 4th base, and then, you know, you run back, and then you have a big ground transition, which is what we saw Cristiano trying to do. You know, he had Blink on the way, Stargate, or Warp Gate just about done, but the big difference, he got +1 very quickly with that, compared to the normal build where you still get Warp Gate. So you have the ground attack, the follow-ons a little bit more. But he was never able to get into a drone line. He killed queens, which was something, sure. But that's minerals, and you build those, it's fine. And then the corruptors came out, and he lost 2 Void Rays, and it just was never going to work. If he had a quicker blink and a quicker, quicker warp gate, he would have been able to then go and run across the map and have a Reynor that committed 26 supply into Corruptors and punish that. But because his build was so much more air focused, he wasn't able to actually do that after all. And, well, them's the breaks sometimes. That's just how it goes. Man, solo casting after like putting in, I don't know, 30 hours on the B stream with someone else, it just always feels so weird when you're getting back into it. You're like, I'm filling up the entire space. I don't have to make space for someone. I don't have to talk to someone. I'm just talking about StarCraft. But this will be a bit different in game 2 from Cristiano. Game 1 was, well, Void Rays. We saw that was the opener into carriers, into all these fun things. This time, first of all, there's a Stalker on the map, but it's not going to be able to get the Overlord, not at least for a bit. But this will be Oracle opener coming out from Cristiano, and a very quick Twilight Council coming in behind that one. This is looking like it might be Oracle into Glaives as 3 more gateways drop. This is cool. This is a build that Stats was using once upon a time as, well, Link speed is going to be done a little bit slow for Reynor. He's going for what is effectively like the delayed Clash opener, right? So you get speed at around 4 minutes, give or take. That Reynor's going to get his right around 359, 358. And it means you can be a little greedier if you're not super worried about Protoss aggression. And considering the way, or generally Terran aggression, but considering the way that Cristiano has been playing, he shouldn't be all that worried about it, right? He's gone very, very defensively. Thank you, Bakano Proto. We got a lot of good feedback on Twitter. I had people DM me on Twitch about it. We saw people in Reddit saying, hey, you know, they were great. One person was like, wow, I could do better. I'm like, okay, then do better, you know. That reminds me, folks, if you enjoyed what Steadfast and I did on the B stream, there is a survey that you can find on Reddit. You can find it on Twitter. You can find it elsewhere. I retweeted it. That says, hey, what was your feedback about I Am Katowice? And you should go and you should say, wow, this was fantastic. The only thing that could have made it better was Beowulf and Steadfast on the mainstream. As the Oracle dives in, gets very little damage done, and takes a lot of hull damage. And well, I was going to say, folks, remember, this was the first Oracle, but it doesn't really matter because this was a single Oracle, and this is going to be Gladefs behind it. Now, of course, it's not a Robo. There is no War Prism. Yeah, Gary Arganis, we got so lucky. We got so many good games. As now the Adepts running across the map. Queen's already in position. And actually, this is something Reynor was talking to me about a little bit, where he was changing away his defense to Gladef play, where, oh, he's going to have to double wall this. This is a bit awkward, but Roaches are going to show up, and they're going to plug that wall. Reynor, oh, he cancels the Evo chamber, but it doesn't matter because, again, he's getting too much damage done. Adepts find their way into the middle lines now, but it's only 3 workers dead into the main base. They're going to try to find themselves, but Roaches are already there. And Reynor is just handling this so marvelously. And 4 workers, 5 workers will go down. Wait, are there Adepts? Yeah, there are Adepts otherwise. So this is where life starts to get a little complicated when you have Adepts on 2 sides of things. Into the natural, into the third base, and the main. And it's hard to keep track of everything. So 10 workers have fallen. But Reynor, again, because he's been able to be so greedy on this defense, again, less Roaches, more Queens, he's been able to grow, he's been able to drone up so much better. And even though he's lost 13 workers, his economy's still fine. Yeah, it's unfortunate, Bakano Proto, because like I know what I'm doing when I'm producing. Like one of the tent poles of the Beowulf package is I'm going to produce a really good show. On top of casting, I like to think I cast well. I know I do a good production. But not everyone can do that. You know, not everyone has the know-hows. The Oracles, they dive in. They're going to get actually a lot of workers here as Reynor has to run back to the Queens, but 1 Oracle will fall. Again, the damage from earlier. Even still, this is about 20 dead workers, and Reynor's not going to be able to get his 4th base, not for a while. So we talk all we want about Reynor's doing a great job maintaining his economy. This is a much more promising situation for Cristiano than it was in the previous game, as again, Cristiano commits the Pulsar Beam. He kills the drone, so that was a drone that was also an Evo, or it's also an extractor. 4th base going down for Cristiano and Reynor at the same time. So if there ever was a game that Cristiano was going to win, it's this one. Cristiano is really in a fantastic spot, all things considered. But yeah, so, you know, you hire me, you know you're going to get a lot of production work. On top of the casting. That's not super common. I am flattered that ESL thinks it is based on what I have done, but it's not super common. So I felt bad because again, Cat's at, oh, Rainer's gonna have his fourth base gets canceled. There's a lot of Blink Stalkers too, and the Roaches are gonna try to respond to it, folks. Roaches are not what you want against this. You want Lings. You want specifically +1 Lings, and it's gonna come out soon enough. As well, Cristiano has lost a Stalker or two, and I'm surprised we don't see Reynor expanding left side, considering where all the pressure's coming from. But regardless, Cristiano's fourth base is up, or just near enough to matter. He's canceled the fourth base of Reynor. He's doing a decent job of curtailing the creep spread, but again, there's no robo, right? This is very hero style, so the creep spread is not. Once the tumors are down, it's very hard to deal with. The Lings are going to try to find these Zealots. They're not going to find much there, but Bailey speed is just about done. And it seems like Reynor is gearing up for a pretty significant attack. He's up 20 supply. He's got Lings on the left side, Roaches and Ravagers on the right. And as the Stalkers run forward, well, first of all, the Lings are going to find a bunch of the Zealots, and that's really not on screen. But they're going to find them, and charge is not done. So the Roaches, oh, big flank coming in from the Lings on the left side. And Cristiano's going to blink right on top of it. Actually has a pretty nice position there, so the Lings don't get the best around. The two Stalkers will fall as the Biles. They dodge, or the Zealots dodge the Biles for the moment. And actually, this is a big army coming from Cristiano. He blinks forward, snipes the Overseer. +2's not yet done, folks, but this is a lot of Blink Stalkers coming from Cristiano. And that makes life much more complicated. 17 Bailings on the way, of course, from Reynor. He actually needs to find a way to spend his gas. He's on almost 800 gas. He needs to turn these into Ravagers or more Bailings or something. But the way he has it right now, he just has a lot of money that he could be using for far more effective uses. The Oracles, they're going to dive in on top of the mineral line. Queen's doing what they can, but there's no Spore here. As well, the Stalkers, they have to run away. And Cristiano, well, he's just going to blink out. But 5 more workers do go down. And again, a much better situation. A much better situation coming in from Cristiano. I seem to have lost my ad manager. That's fine. It's not fine. There we go. All right, got the ad manager back. Okay, so Reynor moving in on the. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry, folks. Reynor moving in on the left side. Meanwhile, he's got a big army on the right side here. So Cristiano, can you defend everything? Yeah, he's been in such an incredible position this entire game, but that's a lot of Bailings into the third base, folks. And well, it's actually going to go down to the fourth base as well. Now, these Ravagers are very undefended, so the Bailings are going to have to run forward. 11 probes have gone down. Honestly, a pretty solid defense from Cristiano at thus far. But well, he's actually a Bile's going to knock down one of the Oracles, and now Bailings, they're going to find an army to run into. Stalkers blinking backwards as they can. Probes starting to fall because, well, they're with the army. And this is the economic damage that Reynor has been looking for. He gets a base. Now Cristiano back down to 4. He's probably going to get a second one as well, as the Bailings continue to just chase Cristiano to high heaven. And the Bailings, they get more because +2 is a powerful thing indeed. 24 workers have died. A fifth base has died. And now the Lings are going to try to get on top of the Stalkers here. Ravagers, well, they will fall. At least a lot of them. And that's expensive, right? It's a lot of gas here. 100 for each Ravager that does go down. But the Lings and the Roaches, they're shredding these Stalkers. The Blink Micro from Cristiano, honestly, not all that great. The Zealots have to run forward, and it's just not going to work out. Reynor does what we expect Reynor to do against Cristiano. He takes the 2-0, and he's got to kill 3 more players. Simple as. On the bottom left, folks, in the blue, he had the run of his career at I Am Katowice. Let's see if he can take down Reynor. It is. Have I time to write it? Sham. There we go. Okay. And his opponent in the upper left in the red in this ZVZ. For Kaizi Gaming, it's Reynor. Reynor. It's Reynor. I thought I had the timing right. I didn't have the timing right. It's unfortunate. Sometimes on a clean feed, you'll be told, yes, I zoom in at 18 and 36 seconds. Okay. I can work with that, but I don't think it's super constant because I imagine the Chinese broadcast is introducing them and the observer is interacting with that. Gary Organis, did I get any new autographs? No, I didn't. I showed at the top of the broadcast I got some of the player cards, but no, I didn't get any autographs. Autographs were very they were regimented this time, where they had. I mean, I probably could have gone behind the scenes and gotten them, but you know. I'm just really excited that I got some of these player cards. I should stick I'm planning on like framing them, taking the 2 small player cards and putting the big one as well. But for now, I should put the bunny player card right behind me with his 83. But okay, I needed to pay more attention to the opener, except I didn't because it is 16, 18, 17 for both players, as no one really is surprised by this. If you are, well, I don't know. But yeah, no one, I don't think anyone should be truly surprised by this. The question is, where now do we go? We had some awesome ZVZ at Katowice. DRG and Cyril in particular. I didn't see the solar or the Cyril Solar series, but DRG Cyril was fantastic. It was this late game. It was so cool. But that's not the ZVZ we normally get. Unfortunately, the Europeans don't really practice the matchup, and they have good reasons for it. I think those reasons were pretty exposed at Katowice. As the Europeans just in general did not do super well in the matchup, and it got Cyril knocked out of Katowice. Even if he realistically probably wins game 5 versus Ragnarok, it's a hard read. And I think there were other situations where, like, realistically, he might have made that win happen anyways. But for now, Lings are going to trade themselves out 1 for 1. And Reynor's going to continue to do a little bit of damage, but he's being very active on this. And I think he got first shot. So is he going to win the Ling fight? They're going to go round and round a corner, and Reynor just backs up. Okay, fine. Be that way. No fancy micro. In fact, we don't even get to see the Ling die. But 16 Lings on the way, folks. Reynor has cut workers at 24. He's building another one now. But as he runs across the map, Ling speed is done. Bailey Nest is not done. Not for a little bit. We're going to keep our eye on the production tab. What exactly is Reynor building out of this? Does he build more Lings? Does he continue to flood, or is it drones from here? But for now, this is a pretty nasty supply block. Actually, he's got to wait for quite a while. No, if he blows up into a bunch of veins, that's a great way to free up your supply. It's actually a horrible way to free up your supply. But anyway, he's trapped in a corner here. Bailing's on the left and right side. Can he wiggle his way out? He can. Nice surround there. Nice setup from Cham. The Lings now, they're going to run into the natural, and I cannot believe a single Baneling is not detonated on top of this one. So Reynor flooding in more and more Lings, even as he was supply blocked. I think he's gotten the measure of Cham here, realizing as that's going to be a pretty big connection, but starting to realize, of course, that maybe Reynor's got a little bit better micro. I heard a Baneling go down elsewhere. Not sure what happened, but here come the Banelings of Reynor. And oh, it's going to be one Baneling for a Ling. That's not what you want. Baneling on the high ground. Second Baneling's going to fall. And you know what? The Ling's micro from Reynor was very good. The Baneling micro a little bit less so. That's a bit better of a connection. And Reynor continues to bump the Lings and the Banes here. He just wants to kill Cham right now. That Baneling will not complete. 5 Banelings there on the ramp. So this is going to be Cham's safety net. But the third base is so low here. So Reynor's going to try to knock the down, buying time, and it's going to be a last second thing. Banelings connect into the natural. Queen is now fallen. Roaches pop out. Reynor playing a ring around the Rosie. One last Ling on the hatch. One last Ling on the hatch, and he kills the third base queen of the natural's going to be dead. And that appears to kind of do it here for Cham. I mean, he's not dead just yet. In fact, his supply is in a pretty good spot, but the Banelings, they continue to run in, and that's going to be more dead workers. Nice Evo wall there, and the Banelings actually won't get much of anything. So Cham does have an opportunity. He lost the third base, he lost a queen, he lost some workers, but he has a ton of roaches. And Reynor does have to build some spines. He does not have a roach warren of his own. Oh no! Reynor gets Banelings into the main. Yeah, Kratos defense. The games are not live. The games are from replay. I am live though. And in fact, in living color. So now Reynor, of course, his lair is, well, much later than Cham's in that he doesn't have a lair. He's got a bunch of Lings on the left side that he will continue to try to put pressure on. As Cham really didn't want to commit to that pressure. After all, Banelu's going to try to find something. Lings, they look for a scout. They don't really get their way into the main, which is, again, that's where all the tech is. So for right now, Reynor knows he's ahead. He doesn't know quite how far he's ahead, and I like this decision from Cham. He has had a lot of gas. You know, he's only on 2 bases. Getting a 3rd base is going to be difficult. So you go for asynchronous tech. You go for Spire. You build different win conditions for yourself than you would if you were, you know, if you were even in the game. Now that being said, of course, as much as I talk about enjoying Cham's position, well, Reynor might just run across the map and kill him. You know, that's always a question. Reynor's on 2 gas right now. He's got his lair on the way, but he can pump a lot of roaches on 3 base. So Reynor's going to see that there's a lair. He's going to want to be able to find his way into the natural, or at the very least count the gases to get a good idea of what's happening. And Cham is, oh yeah, so Reynor's running across the map with a ton of roaches here, but he's backing up. That Overlord should go down before the Spire does get scouted, or the Spore, or the Spines of the Natural, for that matter. Did Reynor see the Spines? I don't know. I would think rather the way that Reynor's responding here, I would have thought he saw the Spines of the Natural, but this is actually so fantastic for Cham right now. He survived the big roach pressure without having to build. I mean, he built the Spines, but he canceled them all, so you get most of the money back, and now he's going to have 10 mutas on the field. Just something like that. You know, he's building the 3rd base up. He's going to start to take that, and he has so much potential map control. What does Reynor have? Reynor's got like 2 Overlords on the map, so not the end of the world. And the question now is, well, does Cham go pure mutas here? It doesn't look like he is. The mutas are out on the map, and Reynor's not going to scout them. But Cham has roach speed on the way. That's fine, but he built a lot of Overlords all at once. And that does kind of tell us he might try to go for some sort of roach timing off of the mutas, just catching Reynor on greed on queens, but he's going to lose his 3rd base once again, and that's going to be a kill, not even a cancel. So yes, workers are going down, but so are mutas. And honestly, six workers for a muta when you're on 2 bases as Cham, not great. But the only saving grace here, of course, is the fact that this is an all-in from Cham. You know, he was not okay with losing the 3rd base, but he was okay with having to cancel it, even if that didn't happen. Because he's just pumping roaches off of roach speed. He's going to run across the map here and try to just kill Reynor really quickly. Or so I thought. But he's retaking the 3rd. He's running the roaches back home. This seems like it's been a significant game of both players being interested in running across the map and thinking about running across the map and starting to run across the map and then not doing so. So Cham, of course, he does have more roaches on the way. Careful of that Bane. He's going to have, I think he just got his plus, yeah, his plus, I think he's just got his +1 complete, or maybe I'm hallucinating. That's what I'm doing. But okay, he's going to run across the map again, but the Lings are going to force him back. Now, Reynor is doing interesting things. His +1 is done. Cham is only just now starting his, but he did get a Hydra Den. And there was a lot of thought amongst the pros about whether we were going to see Hydras in ZVZ, right? They're still as expensive as they once were, but with the muscular augments upgrade, with how much faster they are now, obviously Banelings will go down in advance of, well, actually not a push. With muscular augments here, they actually are a reasonable portion of your army. You can dodge biles easier, you can micro forward easier, they can reinforce it. It's reasonable. And with Reynor's position as it is, because it is a very good position, it's not even like you're super far behind by going for that. Like, it's not like you expose yourself for a timing by going 3 base Hydra. Normally it's 4 base because you do want that 7th and 8th gas. But for now, well, they're gonna, 1 Hydra is, you gotta get transfused. Okay, so the Hydras are gonna be able to start in earnest here. And with the queens, yeah, the mutas, they can't really fight anymore. So the question now is, what is Reynor's timing? You know, he's at 170 supply, give or take. He's kind of capped out right at there. And I was going to say, okay, well, what's his timing? Like, when is he going to try to hit? But it seems like Cham is going to try to hit this timing first as he runs across the map. That is a big army on the left, on the right side. But remember, folks, +2 is, or +1 is not done. He's going to hit a pretty significant anti-timing here. But the thing is, Reynor's army is not totally in position. Like, that is the biggest of deals. There are just so few roaches on the right side. So Cham is going to come steamrolling on forward. Reynor's got to back this up. He can't take the fight right now. Has to rotate all the way on over. And remember, folks, he does have a much bigger supply. Biles, oh, on the eggs. That's so smart. They're coming in from Cham. And the Hydras are not in the fray just yet. Biles is going to try to land on things. And they're landing pretty quickly here on top of Reynor's army, even if he does have that upgrade advantage. And that is actually really starting to make a difference. That being said, though, Cham's supply is massively far ahead at this point. The fight was just not good. Reynor had to take the fight with part of his army before everything else was there. But now, Superior Concave dodging the Biles, running back. The Mutas are starting to fall. Hydras are able to deal with them for the most part. Queens as well. So now it's ground army versus ground army. But Reynor's supply is pretty far down at this point. It is not great. Yes, Hydras are fine. And the Spine's actually doing a pretty good job of dealing with these reinforcements. The Biles, they're just landing so hard. They're forcing so much of Reynor's back. Even still, Reynor will force his opponent back. Your +2 is done, so he's got that upgrade lead. And Reynor holds on. I think he may have had to cancel. No, his fourth base is done behind this. He's up 12 workers. He's got +2. He's got Hydras. That was scary. That was very scary coming in from the Italian Stallion, but he holds on, and now, honestly, even if he loses this fourth base, he's in a pretty damn fine spot. As again, the Biles are going to land on the eggs, cancel those off. And yeah, he's going to lose the fourth base. But he's up workers, right? He's up, his army supply is pretty equivalent. He has much better tech. And he will continue to have that one for the rest of the game. So yeah, you know, supplies, they drop down briefly. But just because they drop down briefly doesn't mean they're going to drop down for the rest of this game. As Reynor again eclipsing what Cham has. He's going to get a scout in the main base. Sees that there's no hive. And, well, good luck going down this ramp, Cham. Ramp Cham. It's going to be difficult. And now Reynor feeling pretty secure in his position. Tunneling Claws. Burrow. They're on the way. And that's going to be the tech that's going to allow Reynor to get active on the map. Like, that is a really big deal. As the Biles are going to not land. Good job there, Cham. Gets a trade. But right now, Reynor's the defensive one. That's just because of how Cham is playing. Because really, the army composition. But if you get these burrowed roaches, if you run them across the map, suddenly that's not nearly as big of a problem. But now, of course, Cham checks the fourth base, finds that it is not there. And he's going to try to get on top of a lot of this army. And Reynor's just not paying attention, not at first. The Biles will not land, but again, a couple free units from Reynor. That has kind of been the story of this series, or of this game thus far, where Reynor has, you know, he's been on the defensive this entire time until right now. He's not really been able to get aggressive whatsoever, and that has meant that Cham has just hit these incredible surrounds over and over and over again. Cham's up 20 army supply because, again, he's only on 44 workers. He is very all in here. The Biles are going to land on top of his Ravaged on the back line. Reynor micros backwards, trying to find a bit of a nicer position, but most of his Hydra's not really there. He's knocking off reinforcements in the middle of the map. Army on the left side trying to get on top of the Ravagers as much as he can. The Biles, they're just not landing. Remember, folks, Reynor does have defender's advantage. In fact, his roaches, they try to find their way in from behind, and Cham is on such a timer right now. He has to get so much damage done before the roaches return home, and the supplies are just not telling that story. Reynor's up in army supply despite being down 20 at the start of things. And again, yeah, you know, the Biles, they're killing off so much of his prospective production. Oh, well, Reynor could... That's unfortunate. Reynor goes, he burrows all his roaches, and they get found immediately. But Reynor has been taking a fight with upgrades advantage this entire game. Now, there we go. Pressure from the front. Interesting that we see Reynor. I mean, he's adding in Hydras now, of course. Biles, though, they're going to try to get some of these roaches. Reynor just unburrows, so now he's got a second flank. So, big army on the left side. Oh, okay. He's just... Yeah, these are counterattack forces. Okay. Most of his army staying at home. Decent hit squad of roaches on the right side here. And Reynor, again, is running into this issue where he has a lot of gas, but just not a lot of minerals. Which is, of course, kind of impeding his growth a little bit. We're not seeing him maxed out. But again, the big problem is the fact that, I mean, Cham has been all in with twice now, with two armies. He's hit with massive army, sure, but Reynor's held on just enough. Just barely enough. Oh, but Roach. Oh, there's Roach. Yeah, it looks like Roaches are trying to find their way into the main base and the. Okay, no, those are just overseers. Never mind. But Reynor's getting close to maxing out again, and it's going to take Cham longer and longer to do that each time it happens. So we got a hidden hit squad of Roaches on the right side, shades of Jidong versus Deer maybe. But on the left, that is the big brunt of Reynor's army here. He's going to try to knock this base down. The base is not going to survive. The question, though, is whether Reynor hangs around a little bit too long. We saw this with Scarlet and Cham, where she killed a base and lost the game and realistically lost the series because of it. So Reynor, though, he's going to fight on the right side. So here we go. Tons of Roaches into the natural. Cham goes all in on the other side, but he's kind of on move command. So Reynor's army chasing in from behind. Biles are going to land, but a lot of these Ravages are falling. So Cham, he does want to get in on the other side of the map, because he is losing his natural rather rapidly, losing a lot of his economy. Reynor runs the drones away, but Cham is going to get on top of that one fairly quickly. But Reynor is just, he's got this army in the chase, and Cham can only go forward. He can only go up. And the problem is, eventually you're going to get trapped into corners. So yes, the Baneling Nest will go down. Cham continues to drop Biles on where the eggs might be, but he's just building himself into a more of a surround. The Roaches, they burrow to make sure that, well, you still take the same amount of damage, but you heal more. So Biles matter a little bit less. Burrowing up the ramp once again, trying to get on top of this army, and he will do so. And again, there's just no detection. So the Roaches, they heal up a little bit. The Biles are not going to land nearly as well as they would like, getting on top of those Ravagers. And Reynor seems primed to take the third game in this series. Cham is dead, folks. He's holding on just a little bit longer, but he's lost all of his base. He's lost everything. Cham making some last-ditch mutants, but there's a Hydra Den. It's not going to work out. Fancy games coming in from Cham, and maybe we will see a fancy series, but that is game one in the favor of Riccardino, the Italian stallion. In the upper left, folks, in the blue, he's down a game. His life is dead, but let's see if he can end his opponent's ringer. In the upper left, folks, Cham. Not the best intro. In the bottom right, folks, though, in the red, up 1-0. Reynor, the Italian stallion, and Riccardino. So for those of you that may not be aware, Reynor has recently, Reynor has moved to the Netherlands. He was living with, he was boot camping with Harstem in Harstem's new house. Right, so that's pretty cool. And he's been living there. He's, unfortunately, where he lives in Italy is just really bad internet. It's not ideal. So he's been living with Harstem for a while, and he just finally, actually, he went to a final showing, contract signing, with his apartment, like right after he played these games. So of course that's in his mind. Maybe that's something that we can see players take advantage of, but we're gonna have to see something a little bit different coming in from Cham in this game number 2. It's interesting. Maybe Kratos defense, but part of the benefit of moving to the Netherlands is that he is, near Harstem and near Rotterdam. Where do we go from here, right? Reynor went aggressive in the first game. He committed a lot of Lingbane pressure. He killed the third base of Cham. He got a queen. He got a couple. Actually, no, not a couple. He got 10 workers into the natural with a hidden bane, and it seems like that's going to be the skill check that Reynor is going for in this game number 2 as well. Is he has once again actually cut. Oh yeah, I know he's cut he's cut far more workers. He's at 18. He is going to flood across the map here, and well, let's just see. Cham does have good vision, so he's going to see the Lings running across, but it is ad speed completes, which is not a lot of time to defend, so you got to block the wall here. Cham, Queen already just waddling over there, trying to get in a good position. Bailing's coming in, though, and this is so deadly from Reynor if Cham's not able to defend. So you gotta block the wall. That's number one. And okay, there we go. Drones are going to get pulled away. The queens or lings are going to get on top of the queens, but the lings are going to get right on through on top of the banelings. Oh, that being said, Rainer's not going to target them down. Banelings coming from both sides. Reynor splits away, and Cham has the hold. He's got one ling remaining. Going to snipe the queen. Regicide, sure. But he does not get the damage that he needs. And now Reynor, he's running up behind this. He didn't commit to this. I mean, he did commit to this super hard. It was actually a pretty good position for Cham right now. Losing your queens are painful because you don't have the production you want, but absolutely zero economic damage. Marty V. Buren asks, who played for Kaizi in game one? Also Reynor. So the way this works, folks, the way the WTL works is there are best of twos. It's effectively, someone's described it as a boss battle, and I kind of like that one. Is Bailing's going to get a decent connection there. Lings are going to try to find their way into the natural, but they're going to find a mineral line, hopefully. That's a lot of lings to go down, though. So Cham does lose that as Reynor, well, he's going to have to suffer from some defense. So split your Bailings here, Reynor. That's important. And one Bailing will go down into the natural. Seems like Reynor didn't lose anything. More lings on the way. So the way WTL works, it's kind of like a boss battle, right? Where everyone has one life in a best of two. So if you go and you go 1-1, well, Bailing's going to run in. That's a lot of damage, and the lings, they follow. So they're going to try to knock down a lot of these wounded drones, but Reynor does a good job pulling it away. And again, Cham is in a great position in this game. Oh, the Banelings. The Banelings. Reynor, you should know about this. Reynor, you should know about this. Drones have to get pulled away. Queen does. Oh, Evil Wall is going to be fine. Their queen on the high ground. Baneling. Oh, Reynor, no! That was a lot of Banelings for little Banelings. It's not great. At least it beats, you know, losing a lot of workers or hatch or something. But yeah. So the way it works, there's a best of two, right? If you go 2-0, you continue playing. If you go 1-1, both players are knocked down. And if you go 0-2, you're knocked out, your opponent isn't. Each team has 4 lives. So 4 players, effectively, across all the games that get played, you can lose 4 maps. So it's like a much more punishing all kill. It's how it works at the end of the day. All right, so here comes Cham across the map, trying to take advantage of some of the advantage that he's built, right? Because remember, he's been up 5-6 workers, like the entire game. And what that means is that, well, Reynor's equalized worker count right now. Cham has a much bigger army. He's up about 9 army supply, or excuse me, 11 army supply. That's a lot of roaches, but Reynor, of course, does have high ground, so Cham's going to need some Bailings to break through. The lings are not, cannot be allowed to be useful. So here come the roaches, the Bailings moving forward. Reynor needs to bring his own just to bear to make sure, ideally, he can knock the Bailings down, but they're just getting sniped down on both sides. But Reynor continues to build stuff. And while his army supply is worse, he does have a defender's advantage. He has 3 queens on the high ground. He has superior vision. And Cham is backing up. More drones are on the way. Reynor has the read that he's held this, so he's droning up as well. Time remains to be seen as to whether that will be the case or not. It seems like Cham is, in fact, going to back up after all. And that seems we're good for now. Of course, the lings that Cham has made, he's going to try to rotate on the right side, but, well, Reynor has really good vision of that. And but the interesting thing, though, is it seems... Okay, what is that, 4 gas? Yeah, never mind. 4 or 5 gas, it's not 6. I thought I saw 6 gas going down. I was going to say, well, you know, it seems like Cham might be going for Muta play, but... Well, never mind. There are our 6 gas folks. Cham's might see some Muta play here. It's delayed, of course, significantly. But that's because of, first of all, the timing that Reynor went for that got nothing done. And then the follow-up attempted punish from Cham. So, Mutas may be... It's fairly likely that the Mutas are going to be on the docket here. There we go. Spire does go down. The question is whether Reynor A, identifies this faster than he did in game 1, and B, whether he actually punishes it. Because his army moving across the map in that first game, it felt like an army that he could have killed his opponent with. But instead, he didn't. He backed up. The game went on. He built Hydras. They didn't work out super well. And that's a great scout. Ling finds his way into the natural, sees the Spire, and now does Cham cancel him? Probably not, but Reynor it's the muted check. He's just going to run across the map. He's up 20 army supply, 25 army supply. Does not have a lair, does not have speed, but more roaches. Oh, well, okay. Well done there, Reynor. Baneling's in position. So Cham's going to run forward, but there are roaches, and well, these Banelings will just continue to move. Roaches and lings, or roaches and queens do deny that one. So here we go, Reynor on the top side, moving forward, trying to cut off his opponent at the pass. Roaches, big surround coming in. Baneling's not going to get the best connection, and this is a significant surround coming in from Cham, don't get me wrong, but the supply may just belay any problem. So Ling's trying to deal with the counterattack as well as they can, but no, Reynor's dealing with that one as well. Roaches are starting to fall here as Reynor comes punching in. Baneling comes in from the backside, but really should not get much of anything done, and here come the Lings of Reynor. So drones now have to get pulled. More and more roaches arriving, and again, they were delayed, but there are Banelings on the way as well. So 5 workers are going to go down. I don't even know if the Spire's been canceled, but it doesn't matter, because Reynor's just trying to end the game right now before the mutas properly arrive. The Banelings, they just add a little bit of extra DPS, make all the roaches wounded, and that makes it so much easier for the Lings, for the roaches to join in. So it's still an army supply lead. Significant economic damage. Lings, now they find the way into the natural. No bases are dead just yet, but that seems like it's going to happen very, very, very soon. So that's going to force Cham out to try to make something happen to keep his third base alive. But I don't know that Reynor is really going to allow that one. There we go. So roach speed is done. That's significant. And Reynor's going to lose actually a lot of these roaches. But he did get the third base. And we're seeing, what is that? A lot of Lings, a lot of roaches on the mini-map running across. There we go. Bunch of Lings running across the map here. Reynor does have to make a defense happen. Don't get me wrong. But the Lings are going to run into the natural, and that's going to force Cham to be even more all-in than he already was. We're actually into the main base where there's just really no defense. So Cham, you going all in or you're not? Lings are going to get us around on top of the roaches on the right side. A couple of them will fall at the start, but Ravagers are going to morph. They're just going to get targeted right the hell on down. So that's even, well, more expensive than it otherwise would have been. Miles is trying to do what they can. Well, Lings actually kill a lot of roaches as well. So Reynor just has to hold on here. And it seems like he will be able to do so. Ravagers are starting to fall. Yeah, Reynor doesn't have roach speed. You know, that's the big problem. His opponent's concaves are just going to be so much better, but there's no third. You know, Cham does not have the money. I mean, he's got minerals and gas, but actually, I don't think he has the larva to build mutas to take advantage of the Spire. So he's just kind of stuck building things. Building whatever he can make to survive at the moment. But, folks, you got to do more than survive. As a Reynor, cheeky Bane's not going to happen. Or is it? Ooh. Quantum Shield, what does the ice cream sandwich mean? All right, but now Reynor's +1 is just about done. He's got roach speed on the way. Oh, he's going to find a bunch of this army as well. Running right on through. Yeah, the biles are going to hit. And folks, look at the army supply. It's 65 to 112. Reynor is, again, he withstood the scary portions of this game. He held on. Now the roaches, they're just pile driving on forward. Reynor's got 4 kills to his name. Oh, he only needs, I guess, 4 more to kill everyone. But, you know, only needs to kill 2 more players. And the bottom right, folks, in the blue, it's a name we haven't seen in a while. It's Lenok. And on the upper left, he's got 2 kills, 4 maps to his name. It's Reynor. I mean, yeah, Marty V. Buren. Those are those are freeze-dried ice cream sandwiches. They don't count. They're not good. Ice cream, astronaut ice cream is just... Okay, if we talk about Dippin' Dots are fine. They're not my favorite style of ice cream, but they're fun. And that's like space age ice cream. Astronaut ice cream is just kind of gross. I mean, I guess if it's better than the alternative, which is no ice cream. Actually, is it? Is it better than just no ice cream? I legit don't know. That's fair of asked. I mean, there's no accounting for taste, but... Oh, yeah, but that's fair. But okay, so we do have to talk about what happened in this game because Reynor did open with a 12 pool. He's got 8 lings on the way. He's going to build a couple more. And, well, it's Babylon. The map rush distance is not all of that long. What is it, 34 seconds? Let me pull out my handy dandy cheat sheet that I made for Katowice. Taking a second, though. Babylon is, I was right, 34 seconds across the map. Wow. Bale is brilliant. Yeah, it's never going to be the future. Future is always ahead of us. But anyway, so 34 seconds across the map here means you can get your lings onto the hatch at least a decent amount of time before it is before it's done, which of course hatches when they're complete, they have 1 armor. When they're building, they have 0. And this hatch is getting very low. This is a late drone pull coming in from Lenok right now. He's going to try to make the defense happen. But we are in a situation where, honestly, Reynor can potentially just stick on the hatch and knock it down. So, but the drones right now, not a single one has died. Reynor's sitting on where the eggs are, so he's going to kill 2 workers at the start. And he actually has gotten a bunch of these lings as well. Again, Superior Concave as Reynor runs around. A couple more lings join the fray. And these extra 2 lings are actually fairly significant. Reynor's just going to stick on the hatch. Is that going to go down? No. And it's only 2 dead workers as well. Solid defense coming in from Lenok. 9 lings for 2 workers, 2 lings, and well, now Lenok's speed's gonna be much faster. His worker count is ahead. For a player who's an AoE pro, But yes, the dog named Scotty. I am live. Hello, hi. I don't have my webcam on in this scene, but know that I'm staring sultrily at the webcam to encourage you to subscribe or something. Playing as though they're going to try to find their way into the natural, and folks, the queens are here, so it's not really all that bad, but they're going to find their way into the main base, and well, there's no connecting creep. So Reynor's going to have to be annoyed for a while, and he's going to hopefully not lose too many workers. 1 worker will fall immediately. Now speed's done. This is much more complicated. So Lenok, again, for an AoE 4 pro, he's handling on to this very well indeed, and Reynor's not in the best spot. You know, he's down workers, he's down tech. His speed is miles behind, and look at this. Lenok, he's got a lair on the way very, very quickly. When is TSL going to happen, Gary Organis? I got no clue. I think it's likely we have one this year. I would imagine that, what was TSL, the offline component was like late July. And the online component was like, what was it, June? May, June, so I would imagine sometime around then. So where do we go from here? All right, again, Lenok, that's a very quick lair, but it looks like it's going to be for like a +1 speed roach timing. Yeah, that's got to be what it is. Well, yeah, 3 gas. So +1 speed roach timing, likely coming out of Lenok here. That's an old build. That is a build that has been around for a good long time, and well, it's a build from when Lenok was a StarCraft pro. Man, if I'm Reynor, I so desperately wanted to get into that. It's not going to happen. Their queen's here. I just so desperately want to get into that natural. That hatch is so damn low. But wait, more and more lings here. More and more banelings as well. Wait, maybe I spoke just a little bit too soon. So lings, they get us around on the second queen. Now, the rewall is nice. But even still, killing 2 queens. That's a lot of production off the table for Lenok right now. And as the roaches arrive, I mean, it's not going to get all that much. Oh, Reynor. He was looking for the cancel, but yeah, it's not going to get much. So, by the way, I really like that wall. That is a wall that does not require a creep tumor, which is super cool, right? It is still a full wall. Queens can plug the gap, and doesn't require creep tumor, so it means that you can spend more queen energy early on things like injecting, you know, or yeah, injecting. That's really the big one, which is kind of cool. You know, it is fun to see Lenok of all players. Again, I should say of all players, but Lenok as a player who again is not a pro StarCraft player. He's a pro AoE 4 player. Used to be a pro StarCraft player, taking advantages of these tiny differences in the map, these new things, these things that you would expect players to know about that are active pros, but not, again, a Lenok who is, I don't know how actively he plays this game, but not all that much. But okay. Here comes that big bit of roach pressure coming in from Leenock. He's up 7 army supply, but again, key things, he's up significantly in tech. He's got +1 range to eventually +1 carapace, but again, that carapace is a little bit slower, and it does not matter as much anyways. The roaches, they're going to try to find their way in the natural. Rainer's going to try to plug the gap because his lings are doing significant damage on the no, it's not. He's not even going to get killed at the third base. Raynor just so desperate to make a hold. He doesn't even need to kill the third base. Banelings makes decent connections, but the carapace is not yet done. And the army supply for Leenock is massive. It's up 20 army supply. Most of it's in production here for Raynor right now. Lings go for the counterattack, and they do have carapace now. But Reynor, of course, has to wait for that carapace to complete. Look what Leenock is doing. He's plugging the gap. The Lings cannot get surface area. And folks, of all the players that we expected to see to kill Reynor, to take a life away from him, was it going to be Leenock? I don't think so. But it is Leenock here right now. That is meaning that if Reynor wants to play after this series, well, he's going to have to be the revive because, well, folks, Reynor is, I think, sufficient. Well, yeah, he's sufficiently dead. Army supply is significantly in the lead. A bunch of workers have gone down, 42 workers to 34. Roach speed to no roach speed, +2 on the way. Leenock has that third base. He never lost it. And we can see Reynor cheesing up a little bit. And he's like, yeah, I know. And man, the foreign ZVZ curse strikes again. Cyril only lost to Korean Zergs at Katowice. Reynor is going to lose his only series thus far, the only map thus far in the WTL playoffs to a Zerg. I think, at least. I mean, the game's not over, but seems like that is very likely. Oh, but Reynor is going to get the third base. Okay, that's... How significant is that at the end of the day? That's a very good question. But Leenock has a response to losing that third base. And actually, that's fairly significant. It nullifies a lot of the economic advantage that he's built for himself. I mean, he's up 30 army supply. I don't think he needs to make the Spire. I think he just hits with +2 and kind of ends the game. But again, Leenock is not a full-time pro, so we're gonna have to see whether he is someone who does go and is able to identify that the game is going to be over soon enough. So for now, he's breaking down attack pass. Oh, okay. Yeah, Leenock's got to know. So he does deny +1 from happening. So he is up an upgrade. And his upgrade that he's up is far more impactful. So here come the roaches. They're going to try to get on top of this third base. And I want you to go down eventually. But for now, Reynor, he has to make a defense that seems impossible possible. He's down a little bit in army supply. But again, the upgrades are just so significant. The queens are starting to fall. And Leenock, he's just continuing to rally forward. He seems like Leenock's going to lose this army, though. Is he? Nah, no, he's not. Never mind. +2, too impactful. And there we go. Reynor says, GG, well played. Leenock actually takes the game. And Reynor, well, he will fall after all. The bottom left, folks, in the blue, the one man who can kill Reynor thus far in the WTL. It is Leenock. Ah, I got it. Oh, wow, that was delayed. Ooh, in the upper right, folks, in the red. Down a game in this series, not something we expected. He is, for Kaizi Gaming, the one, the only, Reynor. Interesting. So what we saw here is Leenock, he gas canceled to get workers faster, which meant that he took 17 pool at the same time that Reynor took a 16 pool. Now, of course, your overload's a little slower. You lose a little bit of money, and I don't think it's all that efficient. I think we've done the math time and time again and realized that, you know, 13 overlord, 16 pool is kind of the way. Like 17 hatch is technically the way to go, but it's punished by a lot of things. So 16, 18, 17 is just mathematically kind of the most efficient way to play the game. But you can mess with timings a little bit. So if Reynor goes and he sees the hatch, he sees the creep on the hatch of Lenok is just a little bit faster than his own. He may read into this that this is like a 14, 13, 12 or something. Like one of those hatch first Ling all-ins. And if he over defends against that one or over prepares against that, that is going to be a fairly solid. That would be fairly nice for Lenok. But of course, he is building a queen out of the natural, and that's one of the tells. You check to see if the natural is wiggling, and if it is, it's not a 14, 13, 12. If it is not, okay, well that's the all-in coming. So Reynor actually gets a great scout here. He looks in the main base, sees that there's only 1 of 3 in gas, which does mean that there's going to be no, well, actually he saw the lack of a baneling nest as well, but these are delayed banelings. You know, there's a baneling nest on the way now. These are delayed banelings. They are, well, if they are aggressive in nature, again, it is at a bit of a different timing. So again, decent scout for Reynor right now as Lenok continues to pump lings. That is 14, 16 more on the way, as he continues to try to just play almost just old school. Although in fairness, he won game 1 because Reynor's 12 pool didn't get enough damage. But Reynor may just lose this third base. I mean, this is a lot of lings, and Reynor has kept the third base up. Banelings are now on the way. But this third base is going to have to be transfused, and folks, the queens are off creep, so they're not going to be able to do it. Reynor's going to lose the third base pretty much immediately, and Reynor is, again, going to find himself... Well, okay. I was going to say Reynor's going to find himself behind. And he has lost that third base, so that's not great, especially allowing it to complete like that. But he's been up in economy this entire time, and he's pumping a lot of lings on the other side. So if he can go and find commensurate damage, equivalent damage, then it's going to be fine. So he's got lings across. Well, Lenok's morphing in a ton of banes. And that's at what, 4, 5, 6 more on the way. So it's going to be difficult for Reynor to get the damage he's looking for. That's a good shot, trading a Bane for a Ling, although this is going to be a little bit more difficult. And now it feels like Reynor, he committed so much to this. You know, he committed more Banes, committed more Lings, and I don't know that he's going to get much done. And again, point Lenok. He got the third. He forced a lot out of Reynor, a lot of commitment, and well, at the end of the day, it's not going to be all that much. So one Baneling trundles forward. It's, well, there we go. And we'll go down here as well as Reynor plays around, plays with fire indeed. And well, Banelings run forward. Hey, that's 2 for 2. That's not bad. Banelings try to find the mineral line. 3 workers go down. It's something. I love that NetEase sponsors this tournament, by the way. And I know that, I mean, because there is no NetEase Blizzard anymore. The offices have been shut down. And actually, fun story, the building that had the, you know, Kaizi Gaming, congratulations, Oliveira signs all over it is apparently where the NetEase the Blizzard offices were. So welcome to ZVZ, folks. At least European ZVZ, at least Reynor is ZVZ, and Scarlet and others Western ZVZ, I guess. All roads lead to Carapace timings. Is how this thing works out. That's what Reynor's going to be going for here. Remember, game 1 he went for a Carapace timing too, but unfortunately he had just Reynor just it got to be a Evo chamber wall or something. Remember, Reynor, he was just too far behind, so any sort of Carapace timing it wasn't going to work out super well. And honestly, I mean, by the time he had anything, he was kind of dead. Game 2 though, he really hasn't taken that much damage. I mean, he did lose the third base, but Lenok cut workers pretty significantly for that. So At the end of the day, worker counts are even. Army supplies are even. Reynor does have a lair. He is advancing further into his tech. And the question, though, I guess realistically, is how hard is he commit to this? He's shirking out on the map a little bit. But he wasn't really pumping roaches until right now. And he's actually got a 4th base on the way. So yeah, that's a nice snipe. He's going to get on top of this mineral line. And Queen will fall. And that's something. Like, these Lings will always fight better against his opponent's Lings. Because, again, they have Carapace and Leonox do not. So, while they're not as feisty as +1 Lings, you know, you don't have that one going for you. They do have significant run by potential as the game does go on. At least until Leonox gets his Carapace, you know, whiles down the road. Reynor just wants to play defensive. I don't know if he's got the read that this is going to be an all-in, because I generally don't want to go for a spine right now. But anyway, Reynor does have his 4th base on the way. Leonox has a lot of his army on the left side, and he's got a decent amount on the right side. I guess what the spine allows is Reynor can commit more of his army to defend these roaches, so he doesn't have to split his army quite as well. Not with the Carapace, not with the spine, although maybe canceled that. So for right now, more and more roaches are, yeah, it looks like he canceled the spine, but more and more roaches are going to run over, and this creep highway is going to work both ways. It allows Leonox to get across the map, but it also means that Reynor can chase him just as well. So Reynor now on the map. But he's not, I mean, we've seen Reynor playing ZVZ and being honestly fairly defensive. So you're going to find where this a potential 4th base is coming in from Leonox. And meanwhile, he's got a big army on the right side. We're going to have to pay attention to what's happening with that one in a second. And remember, Leonox roaches are better right now. Yes, they both have a +1 upgrade, but +1 attack is just better than Carapace. That being said, though, Reynor is just winning both fights. He's got better splits on both sides. There are actually too many roaches on Leonox's left side, so the right side for life is getting really complicated. +1 attack is going to be done right as this fight ends. So Reynor's roaches are about to get a lot scarier. He's up 50 supply. And yeah, you know, he fumbled things a little bit in the first game. Not great. Second game, though, is going to be very different. And while Reynor does lose his life to Leonox, Leonox loses a life as well. So now Team GP is on their last life, folks. And do you just revive Reynor? Is that what happens? You can revive your player at any time. On the bottom left here, folks, in the blue, his back's against the wall. Has got to all kill from here on out. Cannot drop a single map. It is Cham. And they have a right in the red. He showed tremendous form at IEM Katowice. Honestly, so too did his opponent, but he is Spirits. Whenever I cast Spirit, I can't help but think of the Tennyson poem, "Things Fall Apart, Sinner Cannot Hold, Turning the Widening Gyre," because they say something about slouching towards out of Spiritus Mundi, the spirit of the world, whereas Spirit is just the spirit of StarCraft. So now we're in the early stages of a TVZ, and folks, it's a Spirit TVZ. So we don't expect all that much to happen. I mean, a man could hope, a man could dream, but the interesting thing though was this. Oh, okay. Okay. Is this CC first? Yeah. Okay. So Spirit again choosing, which I mean, this shouldn't surprise anyone. Spirit choosing to be rather greedy in this first game of the series. Realistically, okay. First and foremost, he doesn't need to win both games. He can afford a loss. All he has, he's playing with house money. He just needs to take one game off Jam. So, well, if you favor yourself in the mid to late game, I think Spirit does. All you got to do, you got to win on one map. You can be greedy. Like the game theory here says, if you're not going to win, then, well, Oliveira's after that, and Oliveira probably is going to win. And if Oliveira doesn't win, well, you can always revive Reynor. Like, Spirit is playing with such house money right now. You can afford to be a little bit greedy. Just a tiny bit. So now let's see where he goes for in this setup. So for now, it's a 1-1-1. Third command center on the way. Hellions are getting at it, folks. This is a standard TVZ. Should not surprise anyone. The interesting thing, though, is the fact that Cham has gone for Overlord speed in this first game of the series, and Royal Blood is a very good Zerg map. It's just so hard for the Terran to take a third base to build enough space for themselves, and that by itself might justify some level of Overlord speed, because you just want to know exactly what your opponent is doing, as he's going to see, of course, Banshee speed or Banshee cloak on the way, third base, all these wonderful things. Because it's so hard to take the third base, Terrans have been going for a lot of 3 racks, 3 racks, 3-on-1 type of pushes off of 2 bases, because again, holding that third base is hard, but it's very pushable. So Cham is, of course, gone for that to make sure he knows exactly what his opponent is going for. He's going to see that there's a Viking out, and he keeps re-scouting whether this... Yeah, cloak is done. Nice scout there from Cham. He's not going to allow Spirit to pull the wool over his eyes, and that means you don't need... Well, you want some spores eventually, but you don't need a Banshee spore timing. You can get him, 4:30, 4:45, maybe even a little bit later, and still be totally fine. The really interesting thing, though, coming out of Spirit in this game is he went double gas, right, at the natural. And it's not, 4 to 4:30, which is your true mech timing, but, still before 5 minutes. And that almost feels like mech, right? But it is, of course, bio coming in from Spirit right now. I think James saw that. But no, he's got a Roach Warren on the way. He's going 1-1. And yes, of course, you can bust the third base. It may just be for a bio play, but again, those are rather early gases coming out of Spirit right now. I mean, you get your third, but fourth, you tend to get that one a little bit later. So let's see what he can make happen with this. All right, you got 2 more barracks on the way, 1-1 on the way. Stim just about done. We're going to have combat shields eventually, and for now, he's doing a decent job curtailing some of the creep spread. But also, this is played on a broken version of Royal Blood, folks, just so we're clear. I don't know that the match is played on the ladder version, and I don't think that has been patched. So it still has the carpets that hide Widow Mines perfectly. I don't know if that's going to be impactful. I don't know if that's going to matter in this game as a Overlord or a Liberator gets a couple more workers. I don't know if that's going to make a big difference, but it is important to pick off. That is 5 to 6 to Overlords. My God, this Viking has been so impactful. And by the way, folks, this is with Overlord speed. These Overlords, you can't run away from the Viking, but you should be able to pull the rest of them back. So Cham has lost. I mean, he's still significantly in a good position supply-wise, but that's 6 Overlords. That's 600 minerals. That's 12 workers. So now, of course, I don't know that Spirit knows that this is... Well, he saw the roaches, so he should know what's happening. And 1-1 roaches are very good. They move out on the map, they crush the Terran third, but they're not super maneuverable. And that means Spirit should be able to get a significant amount of damage done here. Roaches pop, but they immediately go down. And actually, well, it's just going to be a dead lair. That's a pretty bad problem. Now, bunkers are on the way. But Spirit is not ready just yet. He's got tanks in the natural. He does have a second factory on the way, folks. Or maybe even done. I'm not totally sure. So that is something that is nice. This bunker is ready. SCVs are just going to get pulled preemptively. Yes, some of them will go down. But realistically, not a ton of them. And Spirit is just going to hold on at his third base location right now. There are 2 tanks right here. Double factory, of course. Second tech lab getting added on in. So there are going to be a lot of tanks on the map very quickly. And while this actually okay. Surprisingly enough, I guess because Spirit was not microing, this drop has been cleaned up fairly easily. For the Hellions, the single Marine, they're going to try to put a little bit more pressure on. Spirit is going to lose a lot of... He's massively supply blocked. He's down... He's 130 out of 100 supply. It's going to take a while, even with some top hats. But how do you break this if you're Cham? I mean, there are many, many tanks here. Hellions try to dive in the mineral line. They're not going to find all that much. And as our observer is pointing out, Spirit forgot his upgrades. He has the gas. He certainly has the gas for it. He's double gas on 4 bases. Doesn't have the minerals, though. Not really. So he does need to start that one soon enough. That is often where this timing ends, when the Bioterran player gets to 2-2, when they get to 3-3, when they get past 150 supply. So, well, we do need to get those started. But for right now, maybe this would start a little bit too soon. Even though triple drop on the other side of the map, this is going to be a dead hive. Yeah, there's a queen trying to transfuse. Not all that successful. Bile's on the orbital, but I mean, who really cares? Drop on the right side as well. And well, okay, Spirit, I feel like you just want to kill the hatch here. Certainly got the spawning pool. That's fairly significant. The drop on the right side kills more queens. 16, 17 workers have gone down. And folks, this game has gotten to hell in a handbasket. All of a sudden, the roaches, I mean, they're popping out, but they're just going down. 25 workers have died. The hive is still on the way. I thought that would go down, but it seems like, yeah, that should do enough. There's just nothing in the main base anymore. Marines dropping on top. 4th base is dead, and Sham went for a 1-1 timing. That will not matter, folks. Seems like Team GP is primed, is poised. The hive is dead. Seems like Team GP is poised to move on, and there they are. They will face Alpha X in the next round. Does Spirit have anything for us? Absolutely nothing.